They they just wanted to do a Blackguard and Patrick, except spent too much time, so they just rehosted to swap places instead.
Yeah, it's like a human mech spread. I mean, not mech spread, reclaim spread for a map gen map.
Yeah, it's quite contested, but you know, it's the thing I'm scared about is the fact that those two tech 3 mechs. I keep saying tech 3 mechs. Those 3 mechs locations in mid. They are so close to each other that a monkey push might be too strong.
I think that's why Yuri went Aeon. He's gonna go double gun and walk into the enemy expansion.
Maybe,
at least
but
that feels like the correct move.
On the other hand, the max locations are quite close to each other, so a PD kind of covers it as well, pretty good as well. And aside from those 3 max locations, there's not a lot of attacking you can do. Like, you can raid like the top left and bottom right 5 maxes, but
it's also super easy to wall off.
Yeah, and like at the start it's mostly raidable, but later on in the mid game I'd say it becomes increasingly easier to defend it. Like, you just have one like tech 2 support factory at some point and have some build power there. You want to upgrade the maxes eventually, and then you with some intel.
Yuri's actually going into 2 air. He's going to go much more early air aggression. I wouldn't be surprised if he's making a transport. Would he make a transport from 1? It feels like a rough. This is like one of those maps where it's like 50-50 in my head on whether to go transports or just walk NGs.
I think like the front maxes, I think you walk ACU.
Oh yeah, well yeah, for that for sure. But
like he actually queued it up with an engineer, and I don't like to do that. It's because if you send a single engineer there, and if it gets sniped, which is extremely common, just by a random bomber or lab or even a he's not he's Sarah, so no labs, but Sen. Like, it's just you lose the ability to have those maxes for so long. If you just send an ASU, you don't need to bother protecting it, and it's just so easy. I mean, you lose like 1 engineer of build power in your base by sending the ASU away earlier, but you have to build less protection for the engineer expanding. So
Yuri plays super passive and actually goes for an int out of his second air factory, which actually could pay off because FtX did go for a first bomber, but he needs to actually be active with the defense.
Yeah.
With the scout and look for it.
Yuri also made an Aurora, and that he's also not really using at the moment.
He's actually going pure ints from both factories.
What?
I would have thought you'd want to go bombers.
Well, yeah, if you go double air, you definitely want to be aggressive. FtX on the other hand is going 1 air factory and is making his 3rd land factories, and has queued up 3 more land factories.
He does have a spear with that first NG. If this NG dies, that will be. Well, I guess he does have the second one coming in, so it's not going to be the most like lag if he loses it.
Yeah, the issue is the spirit is not in position; it's behind the engineer, so there's no warning for this bomber. I wonder if he spotted the second engineer. Okay, there should be a decent dodge.
It didn't even drop.
It didn't even drop.
Oh, he's trying to ground fire. Nice.
Yeah, he probably tried to ground fire at the last minute. Also, the terrain had an angle there, so that sometimes messes it up. But I guess the second engineer, for safety reasons, was on the way, so that makes it less painful for Yuri. But
now this bomber is going to have 4 ints escorting it.
quite a bit different from the other, but. Like, you had so many inties. I guess he really didn't want to lose air, but I'm watching Yuri make these land factories, and I'm thinking to myself, what if he is making ghettos?
He doesn't have the mass to spend. Yeah, like he's already paused all like the NG zone match in his base.
Well, yeah, but that was because he was making tech 2 maxes. No, those were just passed and
passed. It's his mod, I think. Or yeah, he does it manually.
Yeah. That's a dodge on the bomber.
Yeah.
The issue is though, there's no AA, and
yeah, he's gonna have to perpetually dodge, and at that point, it almost becomes good just because you're using the guy's APM for the dodging.
Yes. So Yudi should just right click it and not bother with it. But I honestly think that the getters wouldn't be that bad of an idea, because
No, they wouldn't.
with this
He's never
big
gonna lose air.
not for
And
quite a
there's a
bit.
transport from Tex that just it will never be able to finish. Yeah, he had to pause the factory.
Yeah. Also, like, it's also Aeon getters, so labs are gonna be extremely good.
Oh, he actually did manage to get 2 ints on the inside and snipe the bomber.
Oh, it's sad, but the engineer
Oh, he did
died.
kill the engineer though, yeah. And there's no backup one coming, so it's all this one all the way from the base. At that point, he might as well just get the transport going.
Yeah, he's gonna drop it with the transfer, sure.
No, he's dropping the transport in mid.
Really?
He has the engineer going for the expansion. Two
Yeah,
engineers
but
going
is
for
that
expansion.
enough? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's too risky. You would have to just get bombed again. He doesn't have air.
Like, he's now.
Ooh, is he gonna catch it? Oh my god. Did he see it? Yeah, he saw it. He moved his ints back.
Oh yeah,
But he dropped it.
But he dropped, so. But you still get the transport if he locks it? Question mark. No.
Or maybe, yeah, there we go.
Okay. It's a bit in. Whatever. Why does he just plonk down those 3 land factories there, Tex, without making them adjacent to the max?
He was probably panic building it because he was worried there's a bomber coming.
Well, there is a bomber coming, but even then, you can. It's still like, you know. It's not like super crucial to lose these engineers. It's annoying, but he already has a factory and an ACU there.
Pop.
Pop. Like, it still happens, but he still could have like made it adjacent.
Oh, this will be so. These Aurora are gonna be able to trade with these dams like constantly. Unless they group up, so they come in. But then if they group up,
The
bombers
bombers
will go
will crush them hard, yeah. So Yudi is being a bit aggressive with his ACU, so try to get this reclaim. He's bombing the engineers that are also trying to get it. Oh, they're not. I think he has bomber locked on the ACU. That's not the most efficient, but you know, the top left is still not taken. I love how Tex just sent 3 engineers. It's like, if 2 of them die, well, I still have 1 more left. He snipes the bomber but loses 4 inties for it. Yudi has to be careful though. I'm not sure what he's. Oh, he needs to move his inties. I'm not sure what Yudi is doing with his ASU, because he has no support. Like, if you walk there to steal the reclaim, but he's not going for the reclaim. I mean, does have support units a bit further back, but still. He's also focusing on everything but Tex's ASU, so Tex does got like a 15k HP advantage. 1500, I beg your pardon. This engineer is a fucking hero. It's right under Yudi's nose for the entire time. And it's stole so much of this reclaim. Didn't get bombed either. These tanks from Tex actually make it to the bottom right, funnily enough.
Like, I would say 1/3 of the mass and units near Tex is AA. So, if Yudi actually has an awareness of that, he should have no issue pushing in with his land force as it is.
Yeah, this early air really screwed up Tex here. And he keeps losing air as well. Like, he lost like 4 inties like a bit ago, and now he's about to lose 3 more. Well, he's actually splitting them nicely, but Yudi locked him, so he's still gonna lose some. Yudi needs to be careful though. He can be shift G tier if he's not careful, because Yudi has a big army on the left with units. He has a big army in his main base, ready on top of the mountain. That's completely idle. I think Yudi's dead. I think he was being way too aggressive here. And he can't...
I was gonna say something earlier on that I didn't understand why Yudi felt the need he had to push in with his ACU when it felt like he had the overall map advantage.
Yeah. That was what I was thinking as well. He is about to vet soon. He doesn't have OC though, which is very crucial, because Tex clumped up his units a lot. He might not get a vet. Yeah, he's fucked. Not gonna work. that's gonna trigger him so much. I know it, cause he knows that he was winning this. I don't know why his issue was there. Like, he moved there, he denied the 3 maxes, and then he kept on pushing even further. The funny thing is, Judy had more than enough land units. It's just that they weren't in position. There's this army of 10 Auroras on the left that could have helped. There's this army of 10 Auroras on the right that could have helped. There's his main army that also wasn't in position. Then there was the miss rally point in front of his base with like 20 to 30 Auroras that were all rallied into a mountain that could have partially been at front. Like,
yeah, I mean, it was just. I think it's just overall a misread of the situation. He probably just assumed, like, because it's like I have to deny this expansion from the enemy because he's going to send his ACU and do something similar.
I honestly,
But then he got caught in a bad spot.
I don't think it's a misread. I think it's just a misposition of
Well,
units.
what the reason he got into the misposition is because he didn't really read how well the game was going everywhere else.
No,
So instead of playing
I disagree.
safer with the ACU.
No, I disagree. His units, like, he just had like 30 Auroras rallied into a mountain in front of his base. And he, like, the Auroras to the right that he wasn't using for anything else. They weren't in position. His main army wasn't in position.
Well, if your units aren't in position, you shouldn't be aggressive the ACU.
Well, yeah, but maybe he didn't realize. I don't know. Like, I still, like, I agree that the push on those maxes was very aggressive considering how well the game was going. But, like, I think he should have gone for the mass first to begin with. But if his units were in position, then that push would have been completely fine as Aeon. It could have crashed. So the general idea was not necessarily